So King Herod was married to this lady named Herodias, and she was originally Herod's brother's wife, Philip. And at some point, Herod was like, "Oh, I want that," and so he married her. And um, John the Baptist said some things that she didn't like particularly. He said, "It's not lawful for you to have her. It's not lawful for you to have your brother's wife," and that ticked her off pretty bad, to the point where she wanted him dead, is what Mark's gospel says. And it's interesting because they were a blended family. Herodias brought a daughter in with her, probably a teenager. Her name was Salome, and was probably Philip's daughter. Which so now King Herod is stepfather to his niece, and one day for Herod's birthday, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a party. I'm gonna bring all my homies over, and we're gonna get loaded up." And so they're partying and getting drunk, and someone's probably like, "Hey, let's bring in some hookers," And Herodias was like, "No, I'll do you one better. Let's bring in my daughter." Like, what? Like, what are you kidding me? Like, she's in the royal family. That you didn't do that. You didn't do that back then. You didn't bring in your own daughter to dance like a prostitute for the king and his troops, But she's like, "Yeah, bring in my daughter." And Salome comes in and she does this dance, and probably wasn't a tap dance. Probably didn't do some pirouettes and practice her form in front of these guys. She's probably a teenager. She comes in and dances, and Herod's like, "Yeah," he's wasted, and he's inflamed with lust, and he's like, "Whatever you want, I'll give it up to half my kingdom," And which one commentary I was reading said, Rome would never have allowed him to even give an acre, much less half the kingdom, but that's what he told her, And so she rushes out to her mom, like, Mom, he said he'd give me whatever I want, up to half my kingdom, And we don't know, like, maybe Salome wasn't like her mom, maybe she had dreams. Maybe she wanted to be a dancer, "Oh, Mom, maybe he'll send me to art school in Rome and I can study dance." No, that's stupid. Here's what I want you to ask for. The head of John the Baptist on a platter. It's like, and we don't read that there's any resistance to that, but maybe there was. Maybe she's like, "Oh, of course, Mom. My devouring mother gets what she wants again. She divorced my dad to marry this ding dong, and now she wants this when I could have this. Like, sure, Mom. Surprise, surprise. So she goes in. She says, "Yeah, give me the head of John the Baptist on a platter." And they bring it to her, and she takes it out to her mom. Like, "Here you go. Like, bon appetit. Whatever you're gonna do with that." But it's just interesting because Herodias was probably she'd probably be an interesting psychological study. She probably a narcissist, or at least had a victimhood mentality where it's like everybody's against me, and John the Baptist said that it's not lawful for us to be married, so now I want him dead. Like, probably fit the Carl Jung's devouring mother archetype. But it's just interesting when you look at scripture, you look at stories like that, and to see, like, a lot of it's just kind of glazed over, and we don't really think about it much. But man, what a crazy story! Like, this righteous man who, according to Jesus' own words, is the greatest born among women. And met his end like that. It's crazy.